What up, friends? How's it going? Samar, thanks so much for the sub. Happy avocado to you. Welcome, friends. Hello, hello, hello. How's it going? Can you hear? Oh, yeah. Okay, my microphone's working. I noticed that my microphone has been somewhat janky lately, just in apps, and I can't tell when things are working or when they aren't. Hello, Dhaxor. Welcome. That was a cool pose. Thanks. I'm trying to... So I got a new job, and this is like 1 week on the job, and so I'm trying to show them that I'm much cooler than I actually am, and so I gotta like seem neat. It's not going so well, but it's okay. Hello, friends. Hola, welcome. Bienvenidos a todos. Is it possible to look cool? No, but one can try. One can try. Offering of pie? I love your username. I know it's Thursday when I get this notification. Same. You have a man on the inside who knows the actual real level of your coolness. I like this Twitch emote. Hey. Jimena, do you think I'm already the coolest? That's because my actual temperature is very cold. Chicago decided to get in the fall spirit today. Photogabble, hey, thanks for the sub. Normally it's been very hot, like 80-90 degrees Fahrenheit, and today it hit 59. I'm wearing a sweatshirt, and so I'm physically the coolest. I missed the beginning. Did you get a new job? Heck yeah, I did. Also, this is the beginning. Don't worry about it. Gotta start wiggling eyebrows separately to mix it up. I can't. I can kind of do this, but I can't do like... I can't do this. Did you get new pads? I did get new pads for these, actually. Could you tell? Good eye. I did get new pads. I got Dakoni ear pads, I think they're called. Oh, you can see the dots and you have the same pair. Man, still. Sometimes people notice things on video and I'm like, oh no, what else are they noticing? They're just not saying anything. What can you do? Anyway, I got Dakoni Audio Elite fenestrated replacement ear pads, I think. I don't know anything, and also this website doesn't let me zoom in, otherwise I would share the screen. But just know that I got new ear pads, yes, and they were a pain to put on these headphones. If they can notice, it's the good quality of the video stream. That's true. I'm still very impressed. The perils of showing your face in HD. Yeah, I know. There's definitely been times where I've like looked at myself right before starting the stream and I'm like, you're gonna look rough today, Cassidy, and you've got to be okay with that. Howdy, Luke. You got a new job? Yes, I got a new job. Ooh, congrats on your new job, Munita. Hola, Vibing Cat. So my new job is at a company called Contenda, and y'all might have heard me talk about them before because I've been advising Contenda for what feels like an eternity, in a good way, but like, cause I've been advising them since before they were actually like around a thing. Chief Oreo eating officer. That's more accurate than you think. We are very passionate about Oreos. But this is the website, Contenda. I actually have to rewrite parts of it, but it's fine. Anyway, it is an AI startup. And what they do is they take videos, like they could take this live stream video, for example, and they can create content from a video or a blog or something. And so, for example, if I were to share a conference talk of some kind, if I were to pass that conference talk into Contenda, it could generate a tutorial based on that conference talk, a tweet thread based on that talk, highlight clips. I could search for like specific moments in the video and generate clips from that kind of thing. So anyway, that is what the new job is. Am I drinking olive oil? Honestly, yes. More than you think. Are you still remote? Heyo, yes, I am. Last week, the team, or at least some of the team, did come to Chicago, and we had like an onboarding week, which is why I didn't stream last week. And it was very fun, but my heavens, I have learned that I am not used to working in person anymore. I was exhausted at the end of the week. Like, in a good way. They're all very fun people to work with, and I'm very excited to be on the team. But I was so tired. All weekend I basically sat in silence as much as I possibly could. Let's see. What's the best way to learn AI? Honestly, there's... Go on Coursera. There's quite a few good Coursera and Udacity have really good university courses on there. Andrew Ng has a really good course. It depends on what you want to do. Once again, it's almost like saying, how should I learn coding? Depends on what you want to build. What do you want to do with AI? There's like some baseline knowledge that you need, or that you probably should have, and then everything else, it depends. In-person conversations suck the life out of since before the pandemic, since 2019. Yeah, and even then, I've been working remotely since 2018, and like I've had like co-working days and stuff, but it was fun, but I was so tired at the end. I hope the remote team doesn't miss you. They do, and like they were such a fun team. I'm still DMing with so many of them on Twitter and stuff, just because we left amicably. We parted amicably. What's that plant in the background? It's a fake plant from IKEA, and I'm saying that straight because that has been a very constant question. A lot of people care about this plant. P. Copley, thank you so much for the sub. Are they a YC startup? No. I don't know if it's public who we raise money from. Let me check on the website and on the blog and on things. I don't know how public it is who we raise money from, so I'm just gonna say VCs are involved. And it's at seed stage, so it's still relatively early. Kimbu, thank you so much for the sub. Hello, Josh. Welcome. The plant must be freed. Freed the plant. What is this plant of dew? Oh. Y'all work too fast. That's my plant. I don't run this account. I don't actually know who specifically made this account. I know it's one of you people. But no, it's not a real plant. It is truly a fake IKEA plant. It was on sale. Plant's feelings are hurt. No, I had to move to a different country for family reasons, and even though I miss my colleagues, remote is the way to go for me. Same. Are you calling one of us a plant? Yes. Actually, though. I waited 2 weeks for this. It's not my birthday. I'm making it clear. People saying happy birthday initially are trolls. Anybody who follows, you're being lied to. It's not my birthday. You people, it's not my birthday. My birthday is in December. We're all plants, the forest of dew. Speaking of forests, I've been watching Lord of the Rings for the first time. Fiving Cat, thank you so much for all the gift subs. Thank you. Wow. Remember, if you are a sub, Prime sub, gift sub, any of the subs, you can join us on Discord, and you can do this kind of trolling full time. But yes, I am watching Lord of the Rings for the first time, and it's the extended edition, and it's so long, and not the show, the actual movies. I I had recognized so much of it, I can't tell if it's from the memes or from, like, me actually seeing it as a child, but it's something that I've always meant to do and I just haven't, and so I decided to take the leap. What I didn't realize is that the extended edition movies are freaking 4 hours long. Those are long movies. But I finished 1 and 2, and so I have the, what is the third one? Return of the King? I have that one last, and I'm going to, are they still walking? Lord of the Rings commentary. Yeah, that's about right. But anyway, I'm going to watch the last of it probably either tomorrow or Saturday. And the last 4-hour stretch. Hey, Alu. Hello. I don't know how to pronounce your username, but I like it. Lord of the Rings 3, The Return of the Jedi. Yeah, that. Lord of the Rings for the first time. What prompted you to? Because you did not all these years. Honestly, I just didn't have anything else to watch, and I was like, I have a queue of things that I haven't watched, but I'm like, I probably should watch this to be culturally relevant. And I just kicked my desk really hard. And Lord of the Rings is on the list, so I picked it. I also recently, on that list, I recently watched Shawshank Redemption for the first time. That movie was nothing like I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be significantly more sad, but it was a good movie. Luke, thank you so much for the sub. I also haven't seen the Star Wars movies. Except for Rogue One. I have seen Rogue One, which was not a great experience, I admit. First of all, because, so I saw Rogue One, I might have told this story before. I saw Rogue One in the theaters with a bunch of coworkers because it was like a big team event. And I think they assumed that our entire team was nerds, which was spot on, except I wasn't caught up. So, when I was going into this movie, I was kind of going in blind, and people were like cheering when certain like ships would appear, and I'd be like, ah yes, this spaceship must be significant, and didn't think anything of it. But what I didn't, my fatal mistake was not actually telling people that I haven't seen any of the Star Wars movies before going in. And so I had like leaned over to my coworker at one point, and I was like, is that Luke Skywalker? And he was like, yeah, it was Han Solo. Yes. And so the entire time in Rogue One, they're constant. I didn't know that Han Solo and Luke Skywalker were separate people. And so, anyway, it was an incredibly confusing experience. And, Rogue One doesn't have Han Solo or Luke in it? Wait, no, isn't Han Solo, Indiana Jones? What's his name? What's his name? He's a pilot. He's old. Harrison Ford, thank you. Yes, Harrison Ford. He was in that movie. He's not in Rogue One? Did I see Rogue One? Whichever movie I saw had him in it. Not Rogue One. You're thinking of the other one. Maybe. Once again, I don't know this. I don't know these things. That had Han Solo, but he showed up last in The Force Awakens. I don't know. Carrie Fisher wasn't in this movie. Or they had like a 3D generated version of her, because I think this was this after she died? I think it was. It was like a 3D version of her, and it was like her looking up and saying hope at the end. If that means anything. I can't tell which of you are trolling. Of all the nerding you do, oh, we're all trolling. I don't know what's real. I think that's a scene from Lord of the Rings. Okay, I give up. Anyway, I saw a movie in the theaters where I thought Harrison Ford was Luke Skywalker until the very end. Rogue One has the CG young Leia saying hope. Aha! Aha! Suck it! Hang on, I'm Googling. Was Han Solo in Rogue One? Oh gosh, this is way deeper than I was expecting to go.
M2 Max. pero la hostia de precio va a ser muy fina, ¿vale? Estamos hablando de un MacBook Pro M1 Pro que ahora vale 2.240.
What up, friends? How's it going? Samar, thanks so much for the sub. Happy avocado to you. Welcome, friends. Hello, hello, hello. How's it going? Can you hear? Oh, yeah. Okay, my microphone's working. I noticed that my microphone has been somewhat janky lately, just in apps, and I can't tell when things are working or when they aren't. Hello, Dhaxor. Welcome. That was a cool pose. Thanks. I'm trying to, so I got a new job, and this is like 1 week on the job, and so I'm trying to show them that I'm much cooler than I actually am, and so I gotta like seem neat. It's not going so well, but it's okay. Hello, friends. Hola, welcome. Bienvenidos a todos. Is it possible to look cool? No, but one can try. One can try. Offering of pie? I love your username. I know it's Thursday when I get this notification. Same. You have a man on the inside who knows the actual real level of your coolness. I like this Twitch emote. Hey. Jimena, do you think I'm already the coolest? That's because my actual temperature is very cold. Chicago decided to get in the fall spirit today. Photogabble, hey, thanks for the sub. Normally it's been very hot, like 80-90 degrees Fahrenheit, and today it hit 59. I'm wearing a sweatshirt, and so I'm physically the coolest. I missed the beginning. Did you get a new job? Heck yeah, I did. Also, this is the beginning. Don't worry about it. Gotta start wiggling eyebrows separately to mix it up. I can't. I can kind of do this, but I can't do like, I can't do this. Did you get new pads? I did get new pads for these, actually. Could you tell? Good eye. I did get new pads. I got Dakoni ear pads, I think they're called. I'm genuinely very impressed. Oh, you can see the dots and you have the same pair. Man, still. Sometimes people notice things on video and I'm like, oh no, what else are they noticing? They're just not saying anything. What can you do? Anyway, I got Deconi Audio Elite fenestrated replacement ear pads, I think. I don't know anything, and also this website doesn't let me zoom in, otherwise I would share the screen. But just know that I got new ear pads, yes, and they were a pain to put on these headphones. If they can notice, it's the good quality of the video stream. That's true. I'm still very impressed. The perils of showing your face in HD. Yeah, I know. There's definitely been times where I've like looked at myself right before starting the stream and I'm like, you're gonna look rough today, Cassidy, and you've got to be okay with that. Howdy, Luke. You got a new job? Yes, I got a new job. Ooh, congrats on your new job, Lunita. Hola, Vibing Cat. So my new job is at a company called Contenda. And y'all might have heard me talk about them before because I've been advising Contenda for what feels like an eternity. In a good way, but like, cause I've been advising them since before they were actually like around a thing. Chief Oreo eating officer. That's more accurate than you think. We are very passionate about Oreos, but this is the website, Contenda. I actually have to rewrite parts of it, but it's fine. Anyway, it is an AI startup, and what they do is they take videos, like they could take this live stream video, for example, and they can create content from a video or a blog or something. And so, for example, if I were to share a conference talk of some kind, if I were to pass that conference talk into Contenda, it could generate a tutorial based on that conference talk, a tweet thread based on that talk, highlight clips. I could search for like specific moments in the video and generate clips from that kind of thing. So anyway, that is what the new job is. Am I drinking olive oil? Honestly, yes. More than you think. Are you still remote? Heyo, yes, I am. Last week, the team, or at least some of the team, did come to Chicago, and we had like an onboarding week, which is why I didn't stream last week. And it was very fun, but my heavens, I have learned that I am not used to working in person anymore. I was exhausted at the end of the week. Like, in a good way. They're all very fun people to work with, and I'm very excited to be on the team, but I was so tired. All weekend I basically sat in silence as much as I possibly could. Let's see. What's the best way to learn AI? Honestly, there's... Go on Coursera. There's quite a few good Coursera and Udacity have really good university courses on there. Andrew Ng has a really good course. It depends on what you want to do. Once again, it's almost like saying, how should I learn coding? Depends on what you want to build. What do you want to do with AI? There's like some baseline knowledge that you need, or that you probably should have, and then everything else, it depends. In-person conversations suck the life out of me. Give me a screen, dang it. Yeah, no, I hadn't like worked alongside people in person since before the pandemic, since 2019. Yeah, and even then I've been working remotely since 2018. And like I've had like co-working days and stuff, but it was fun. But I was so tired at the end. I hope the remote team doesn't miss you. They do. And like they were such a fun team. I'm still DMing with so many of them on Twitter and stuff just because we left amicably. We parted amicably. What's that plant in the background? It's a fake plant from IKEA. And I'm saying that straight because that has been a very constant question. A lot like who we raise money from? Let me check on the website and on the blog and on things. Raise money from. So I'm just gonna say VCs are involved. And it's at seed stage, so it's still relatively early. Kimbu, thank you so much for the sub. Hello, Josh. Welcome. The plant must be freed. Freed the plant. What is this plant of dew? Oh. Y'all work too fast. That's my plant. I don't run this account. I don't actually know who specifically made this account. I know it's one of you people. But no, it's not a real plant. It is truly a fake IKEA plant. It was on sale. Plant's feelings are hurt. No. I had to move to a different country for family reasons, and even though I miss my colleagues, remote is the way to go for me. Same. Are you calling one of us a plant? Yes. Actually, though. I waited 2 weeks for this. It's not my birthday. I'm making it clear. People saying happy birthday initially are trolls. Anybody who follows, you're being lied to. It's not my birthday. You people, it's not my birthday. My birthday is in December. Gosh, we're all plants. The Forest of Dew. If you are a sub, Prime sub, gift sub, any of the subs, you can join us on Discord, and you can do this kind of trolling full time. But yes, I am watching Lord of the Rings for the first time, and it's the extended edition, and it's so long, and not the show, the actual movies. I had recognized so much of it. I can't tell if it's from the memes or from like me actually seeing it as a child, but it's something that I've always meant to do and I just haven't, and so I decided to take the leap. What I didn't realize is that the extended edition movies are freaking 4 hours long. Those are long movies. But I finished 1 and 2, and so I have what is the third one? Return of the King. I have that one last, and I'm going to, are they still walking? Lord of the Rings commentary. Yeah, that's about right. But anyway, I'm going to watch the last of it probably either tomorrow or Saturday. And the last 4-hour stretch. Hey, Alu. Hello. I don't know how to pronounce your username, but I like it. Lord of the Rings 3, The Return of the Jedi. Yeah, that. Lord of the Rings for the first time. What prompted you to? Because you did not all these years. Honestly, I just didn't have anything else to watch, and I was like, I have a queue of things that I haven't watched, but I'm like, I probably should watch this to be culturally relevant, and I just kicked my desk really hard. And Lord of the Rings is on the list, so I picked it. I also recently, on that list, I recently watched Shawshank Redemption for the first time. That movie was nothing like I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be significantly more sad, but it was a good movie. Luke, thank you so much for the sub. I also haven't seen the Star Wars movies. Except for Rogue One. I have seen Rogue One, which was not a great experience, I admit. First of all, because, so I saw Rogue One, I might have told this story before. I saw Rogue One in the theaters with a bunch of coworkers because it was like a big team event. And I think they assumed that our entire team was nerds, which was spot on, except I wasn't caught up. So, when I was going into this movie, I was kind of going in blind, and people were like cheering when certain like ships would appear, and I'd be like, ah yes, this spaceship must be significant, and didn't think anything of it. But what I didn't, my fatal mistake was not actually telling people that I haven't seen any of the Star Wars movies before going in. And so I had like leaned over to my coworker at one point and I was like, is that Luke Skywalker? And he was like, yeah. it was Han Solo. Yes. And so the entire time in Rogue One, they're constantly like, we need to find Luke Skywalker or something. And I was like, he's right there. What am I missing? I didn't know that Han Solo and Luke Skywalker were separate people. And so, anyway, it was an incredibly confusing experience. And, Rogue One doesn't have Han Solo or Luke in it? Wait, no, isn't Han Solo, Indiana Jones? What's his name? What's his name? He's a pilot. He's old. Harrison Ford, thank you. Yes, Harrison Ford. He was in that movie. He's not in Rogue One? Did I see Rogue One? Whichever movie I saw had him in it. Not Rogue One. You're thinking of the other one. Maybe. Once again, I don't know this. I don't know these things. That had Han Solo, but he showed up last in The Force Awakens. I don't know. Carrie Fisher wasn't in this movie. Or they had like a 3D generated version of her, because I think this was this after she died? I think it was. It was like a 3D version of her, and it was like her looking up and saying hope at the end. If that means anything. I can't tell which of you are trolling. Of all the nerding you do, your movie nerd knowledge is really crap. I'm sorry. Hype train. Rogue One. So was Rogue One? Oh, we're all trolling. I don't know what's real. I think that's a scene from Lord of the Rings. Okay, I give up. Anyway, I saw a movie in the theaters where I thought Harrison Ford was Luke Skywalker until the very end. Rogue One has the CG young Leia saying hope. Aha! Aha! Suck it! Hang on, I'm Googling. Was Han Solo in Rogue One? Oh gosh, this is way deeper than I was expecting to go. I don't know what's happening. Anyway, it is fine. Chat, professional gaslighting. Actually though. Also Han Solo like, but not Han Solo? Sure. Great. Jibukar, thank you for the bits. Do you mean Solo? He was in that one. I didn't see Solo. In today's episode, Cassidy discovers a fandom. You should do a conference on Star Wars. I would watch it. I do kind of feel like I should live tweet or something whenever I do watch Star Wars. Because, like, I know Darth Vader isn't until later. That rhymes. I think. I don't know. I also don't know which order to watch the Star Wars movies in. I love the Star Wars film when the Enterprise goes back in time and saves a whale. Once again, I don't know if you're lying. I mostly know the memes. Like, I know there's a meme with, like, the lightsaber and there's, like, a child that looks scared because I think someone's gonna kill a kid. And I know that there's, like, Luke, I am your father. And I know, like, siblings make out or something at some point. And Natalie Portman is present in movies that people don't like as much. That's my Star Wars knowledge. Saving a Whale is a great Star Wars movie. I don't trust any of you. You should watch them in Fibonacci order? Okay. 4, 5, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did you know that the actor of Luke Skywalker broke his toe when he kicked the Imperial helmet? Now, I know that as a Lord of the Rings joke. Aha! I got that. Natalie Portman cries. Oh no. I'm very aware of Star Wars lore, but the last time I remember trying to watch the original trilogy, I found it profoundly boring. Well, and I'm sure that, like, it was so iconic for its time, like that's a lot of the cult classic stuff coming into play. But yeah. But did you know that Dumbledore kills Obi-Wan with Gandalf's staff? Very funny. Or was that Snape who killed him? Luke to Obi-Wan, alright then, keep your secrets. Wow, I know so many Lord of the Ring memes now. But again, I haven't seen the third one. I assume that they are successful in throwing the ring in the lava. But I don't know what else happens. I think Star Wars is nerd homework. There you go. Tani Dorado Zero. Cassidy just talked to me. Hey. Why are we talking about the Star franchise that's not Trek? I also haven't seen Star Trek, although I saw one of the movies. But also, once again, I did not have a lot of context for that movie. You know you're a real nerd when you're better at coping and keeping up with nerd fiction stuff. I don't know about that. Have you seen Taking the Hobbits to Isengard? You mean like they're taking the Hobbits to Isengard? I saw that for the first time this past week. And I felt like it opened up a whole world of meme culture that I didn't know. Because multiple people have asked me if I've seen that recently. Why are we talking about the Star franchise that's not Stargate? Oh gosh. The revelations here are harmful. Did Anakin do the thumbs up when diving into the lava? Wait, is that a Star Wars thing? I've never actually known where that meme comes from, where the thumbs up is in the lava. Wow. That's a Terminator thing. Oh, okay. No, that's Iron Giant. I've seen Iron Giant. Oh gosh. My favorite meme is when Frodo drinks the water that Sam gives him. I don't know if I remember that one. I didn't know about the potatoes meme, or rather, like, I knew people often said, like, potatoes, like, cut them, bake them, put them in a stew or whatever. I knew people said that, but I didn't know it was from Lord of the Rings until I saw the movie. So that was exciting. Let's see. Frodo pushes Luke in the lava. Stop it. It's Toy Story, the thumbs up. Man, in Toy Story 3, when all the toys are like holding hands and they're about to go in the lava and they like look at each other, my emotions. Ugh. Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew. There you go. It actually does. And also, I'm like the exact age of Andy in that I went to college the year that Toy Story 3 came out, when Andy goes to college. That movie was so devastating. I remember watching it with my family, and my mom was literally rolling on the floor crying. That movie was... The emotions. I watched Toy Story 3 on a plane and had to look out the window to avoid crying. No! Okay, but actually the Toy Story 3 released 12 years ago. I know. We're old people. Inside Out with Bing Bong? Gosh. I can't watch Moana. Moana with the grandma? Ugh. And when the mom helps her, like when she's about to leave and the mom just gets down and starts helping her fill her bag. Pixar, they getcha. Oh, Up. Coco with the grandma. When they sing with the grandma and Coco. I'm trying to like not get emotional just thinking about all this. Well, and also specifically, Andy, on planes, I don't know what it is. I am excessively emotional on planes. If I watch a movie that has anything remotely wholesome or sad, I will be a crying wreck. I don't know why it is, but on planes I am just ready to all the tears. Brittany, same for you? Yeah. No, it like I remember even kind of stupid movies. I think I like sobbed my brains out at Pitch Perfect 2, which is not exactly quality cinema to sob at, but when I'm on a plane, all bets are off. When they start singing that last song, I'm like, yes, flashlight. Oh, gosh. The first 5 minutes of Up is unbelievable. I know. I'm seriously behind on Disney movies. The last thing I watched was the one with frogs in Louisiana. Princess and the Frog? Oh, you gotta catch up. There's so many good ones. There are a few that I'm missing too. Like I haven't seen Soul yet. I have seen Turning Red. What are the other ones that have come out recently? Destroyed me. Ugh. Like thinking Encanto's a tearjerker. Encanto's so good. Yeah. Like, well, and also, basically we're crying all the time. Exactly. With Encanto, here's the thing. For those who don't know, half of my family is Hispanic, my mom's side. And so much of that family looked so much like my family members to the point where, like, Joe would be like, oh, that looks like Maya. And I'd be like, it is! And just like, oh, the tears. My emotions were so wrecked. And then also, I am the oldest grandkid. Like, I'm the firstborn of 2 firstborns. And so when that song Pressure came on, all bets were off. Like, thinking about it. Hang on one second. I got a Kleenex box. I'm gonna stop thinking about the emotions that Disney is able to force out of me. Because, whew. Thinking about it. Encanto got me good. We don't talk about, yeah. Bruno, man. Turning Red made me sad because it was made by someone younger and more successful than me. Oh no. That'll only keep happening. These films got us through the pandemic, folks. It's true. My mom was absolutely against taking my sister and I to see E.T. back in the 80s, but one night we went and saw Platoon. We left the movie and Mom turned us around to let us see a second movie, E.T., that night because it reminded her of a high school boyfriend who had gone to Vietnam. Oh, heavens. Gosh. If you cry, I cry. No! Okay. Disney making you cry on your birthday? Again, it's not my birthday. Heck, Barbie movies make me cry. I'm just like you. You're just like me. The E.T. game was a great game, by the way. Oh, good to know. You know all the songs from that movie? That's excellent. Freaking Serenity is a tearjerker too. Don't get me started. Because I saw Firefly for the first time in 2015, I think. Yeah, I was like, yeah, because I'm like thinking about my life timeline. I remember seeing it, and I knew that it was like a cult classic. I didn't know that it was canceled. And so at first I like didn't get super into it, and then by like episode 4 I was like, dang, this show is good. And then it ended, and then there was just Serenity, and you just saw all of the plot twists that could have happened and all the potential the show could have had. And I was just like, oh, that's devastating. And then you saw how, like, what are the monsters called? Reavers? Or something? Weavers? Hang on one second. What are the monsters called? What are the monsters in Firefly? Reavers. It was like, how do Reavers clean their arms or whatever by putting them through the wash? You know that is a very sad joke if you've seen that movie. Gosh. Hey Cassidy, I remember and met you from all the hackathons in undergrad. Oh hey Caleb. Long time no see. Wow. I went back from vacation and there was a Twitter debate about Disney casting black characters, and I was wondering if I'd jumped 50 years into the past. So stupid. I love Firefly. I'm very salty it got canceled. I know. My tweet bio is I'm a leaf in the wind and watch how I soar. Oh man. Yes, people still think it's my birthday. It is not my birthday. Gosh. All of these emotions. Cannot handle my heart. Oh, The Good Dinosaur. I haven't seen that one. I've heard that is a major tearjerker as well. Gosh. They only agreed to make Serenity if they could complete the story in a way that would ensure zero chance of a sequel. Man. Is your job hiring new grad SWEs? Not currently. Maybe someday, but not right now. Can we talk about the girl who wrote the musical for the Korean princess? I've heard of this, but I haven't actually watched it. Also, it is not my birthday, no. Land Before Time? Oh, gosh. I think I've pushed a lot of that story out of my mind. It wasn't like a core movie for me as a kid. Like, it was one of those movies that I saw, like, when I went to my aunt's house. It wasn't one that we owned. Because back in my day, you owned movies. Or you got them at Blockbuster. But man, I remember being sad. Do you have any tips for someone that might go the freelance route? My tip for you is to charge based on outcomes and not necessarily hours, and like really limit scope. And you can fire clients just like clients can fire you. Those are my two biggest tips for you. The Land Before Time is the first film I remember crying to. What is the first movie? This is a question for all of you. What is the first movie you can think of that ever made you cry? For me, it was Little Women. If you haven't seen Little Women like with Winona Ryder, a classic. I could probably quote that entire movie from my heart right now. But when Beth got sick and it was Beth's time, oh, my heart wrecked. Barney, Annie, oh yes, Green Mile, Trogdor, My Girl, gosh. Land Before Time, Homeward Bound, that's a good one. La La Land made you cry, interesting. I could see it. Warrior made me man cry. My Girl, ooh. Is it bad if I say the show finale of Person of Interest? It's not bad, it's not a movie, but Pirates of the Caribbean made me cry because it was too scary. No. But I understand, especially as a kid, because Pirates of the Caribbean was the first PG-13 movie I ever watched, and it was, for me, that was scary. Life of Pi, Lucas. Don't remember the name, but it was about a boy with a physical disability, but smart, that made friends with a boy with mental disabilities. I feel like I recognize that, but I don't know. Earliest cry, maybe Sailor Moon, Air Bud, Digimon, Pokemon. Yep. Homeward Bound, when the golden is stuck in the pit. Never-ending Story. So many never-ending stories. Of Mouse and Men. I haven't seen that one. That's one of those that like I wore part 1 and haven't been able to rewatch it. Wow. Some of these are very recent movies. I can't tell if it's because you all are very young or you just don't cry that much in movies, which I know that I cry a lot in movies, so there you go. Bridge to Terabithia. Perks of Being a Wallflower. Okay. Iron Giant. Oof. That's very true. Like, the Pocahontas movie score, I cry almost every time. Like, they do such a good job with, like, the wind, like the da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and like, the swells in that soundtrack. I listened to it today and I teared up. It's so good. The Impossible. I don't know that one. Also see Bambi. Oh, gosh. All the chat like, yeah. Dahlia, thanks. Dahlia, what is a movie that... Okay. The end of How to Train Your Dragon. Yeah. Okay, I cry at the end of Lord of the Rings. I haven't seen the last movie. Will be this weekend. Music scores playlist on Spotify might be my most listened to. Fox and the Hound. Oh, memes. Gosh. Ghibli movies. The start of Up. Inside Out. Yes. Edward Scissorhands. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Get yourself tissues if you're watching Return of the King. Really? I will. I trust you. Interstellar. Oh, speaking of a good soundtrack. I like Interstellar. Lion King. Oh, we didn't even get into Lion King. Lion King is... Oh, the heart. Oh man, Fox and the Hound. Back in the days when they really weren't afraid to just stomp all over your heart. Back in the day, it still is happening. Disney is cruel. Lion King had some dark secrets. Oh gosh. Bicentennial Man. That's another one I haven't seen. That's like on a list somewhere. I know I gotta see that one. Cool Hand Luke. I associate that movie with my parents. I know that they really like that movie, but I didn't see that one. End scene of the movie Arrival. I really like Arrival. That is a great movie. Brother Bear, yes. Recently I watched Ender's Game and didn't expect to cry. You know, I kind of want to give the Ender's Game movie a chance again, because I made the mistake of reading the book and watching the movie directly after. You shouldn't do that in general. You need to have like some time in between so you can treat them as separate stories. That was my own fault. Life is beautiful. Oh gosh. Cool Hand Luke is good. What we have here is failure to communicate. Some men you just can't reach, so you get what you have here. There you go. Ender's Game is my favorite book. It's a great book. It's really, really good. Arrival at the end when she chooses to still have her kid. Oh, I know. Oh, I know. I watched Ender's Game with my ex, having never read the book nor seen the movie before. She got upset with me when I was able to predict the ending. Oops. That's the thing. In the book, I never saw the end coming. In the movie, I felt like it was kind of built up to it differently. Did you go to college for a computer science degree? I did, yes. Did I miss the announcement of what your new job is? I am working at a company called Contenda, and I still have their website up on the side. Hey! It is an AI startup that takes content and creates new content from it. And so if I were to, for example, pass in a blog post, it could give me a tweet thread based on that blog post. If I did a technical video, it could create a technical tutorial based on that video, or tweet threads, highlight clips, etc. Congrats on your job, thank you. ISU, yes, go Cyclones. Are we doing well sports-wise right now? I think we were. I'm just gonna pretend we are. Go Cyclones. Can you make an AI bot that finds the errors in my code? Good luck. I think that's, you're just gonna have to use a good linter for that. When I was younger, I cried when Harry died in Spider-Man 3. Ooh, that's a good one. Can we all watch that scene from Wrath of Khan together? I have not seen that one. Should I? ISU is pretty average as of late. That's fine. You move your jobs pretty often. Do you ever get asked about this, and how do you explain it? I don't often get asked about it, but when I do, I'm just kind of honest. And I will list out all the jobs I've had quickly, and I'll tell you why I left. First job out of college that wasn't an internship or anything was at Venmo. Venmo was great. It was bought by PayPal. PayPal started to cut a lot of different projects and stuff, that the ones that I particularly cared about. And even though like my job was safe, I wasn't enjoying it as much anymore. So I ended up leaving to go to a startup. The startup was called Clarify. It was an AI startup. I really liked it there, but I wanted to leave New York City and they didn't support remote work. And so I ended up leaving. I went to a creative agency after that called L4, which does not exist anymore, which is why I ended up leaving. It was bought, absorbed, and disbanded. And so I ended up leaving before all of the disbanding fully happened because I didn't want to get let go or anything, just in case. Then I went to Amazon. It was not a good fit and I disliked it. And so I resigned 7 months into the job. Then I went to CodePen. I was software engineering at CodePen, which I really enjoyed, but I missed interacting with the dev community because I had been doing so much like dev advocacy and talks and stuff, and CodePen didn't want me to give talks. They wanted me to just focus on writing code, and I missed that aspect of it. So after CodePen, I went to React Training, where I was teaching coding full-time. I loved it. I was traveling a ton, teaching a ton. It was great, but then the pandemic happened, and when you have a full-time traveling job in a pandemic, companies shut down, and so React Training went away, and they laid off everybody. Then I went to Netlify. Loved Netlify. I'm still advising Netlify regularly and still have a good relationship with them. I was there for a while, and honestly, I was just burning out a lot, and I was just like, I think I need a change. And so I left Netlify and was just like, I just need a break from the web dev space and stuff in general. And then I went to Remote, and that was early this year. And I really liked Remote, but I don't think they were fully ready for me to join. Oh gosh, sorry. A fire alarm just went off outside. That scared me. And yeah, honestly, I really liked Remote as like a culture and stuff, but my role in particular wasn't what I was really enjoying. And that's what brought me to. And so it was kind of a natural fit because I already knew the team really well, knew the product really well, and that is how I went here. So anyway, that is my job history, and I think those are pretty reasonable explanations. I love that you have the courage to leave when you don't enjoy your job. Thank you. It's not a natural courage. It's something that I kind of force upon myself, but I think it's very good to do assessments of like, do I like my current role? Am I going in a direction that I want to be in? And with Remote, honestly, I kind of knew early on that it wasn't the best fit. And that for a while I realized I was forcing it to work rather than just doing the job. And you don't have to love your job, but I do think it's helpful if you like it a little bit. And I was realizing I was forcing it a lot. And when the opportunity happened, I took it. Cassie left because she met me. No! Since we're talking career, have you ever been fired? If so, how do you deal with it in the CV and interviews? I have not ever been fired. I think you just put it as like an end date on your resume, and then if people ask about it, you say that I wouldn't even... I don't think it has to come up. Unless people are asking like, why did you leave your previous role? I would say something along the lines of like, there was some misalignments of expectations and communication, and it ended up not being a good fit. Something like that. Your echo just turned on. Ooh, sorry. How do you get into advising startups? Great question. It's something that I like kind of stumbled upon, where I talked to someone where his entire full-time job is advising startups, and I was like, that's really cool. I like that. I'd like to do that. And he was just like, honestly, put it out in the world that you're interested in advising startups, and the more you talk to them, the more you'll find quite a few startups are looking for advisors. And I did that. I basically followed his advice to a T and started just happening to mention it. There would be times where startups would reach out asking if I wanted to do contract work, and I'd be like, no, but I advise startups if you're interested in that. And that's how a few things happened. How How do you find so many jobs? I've been accepted at half the interviews I got, but I nearly never get to the interview stage. I am pretty constantly keeping a pulse on opportunities out there. And I think that's something important. You should be job hunting when you're happy at your job. Because if you're happy at your job, great, you stay. If you're not happy at your job, then there's opportunities. And if anything, a lot of times I've talked to companies, been like, this seems very cool, but the timing isn't right. Let's stay in touch, and then eventually you can reach out later. I usually see people expecting long stints at companies as a red flag. You should be flexible in your career, and if you're not happy in your job, you're not serving the business to your full potential. Yeah, something that I saw recently, because I gave a talk recently, and there was a big Q&A afterwards, and this one person was just like, I've noticed a lot of the people applying to my company only stay at companies for like 2 years or less, and I don't really like that. I want people who will stay around for a long time. And I was just like, I think that's less on the individual and more on you. If you can provide an environment where someone is growing, where someone's being compensated well, my dude Dev, welcome, bienvenidos a todos. We're talking about jobs, but anyway, if a company has a good culture, you're growing and learning, and you're being paid, if you got at least 2 out of the 3, then there's no reason to leave. And so I was telling this person where they're just like, all these candidates, they don't have very long stints. I was just like, well, provide the environment that would make them want to stay. And there you go. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. I usually, let's see. Cassidy, I love your content. Thank you. I cannot for the life of me figure out where you get your keyboards. Oh, honestly, my go-to website is drop.com because it's very easy, and I kind of like it when a company backs things for shipping security. And it's my 3rd time that I've had a startup go out of business and shut down on me. No, I'm so sorry. I really like startups, and I think when you're interviewing, you gotta ask questions like, what is your company's runway like? What is the contingency plan if things fail? That kind of stuff. And I feel like that's a very reasonable thing to ask. Let's see. The fact that you say they weren't ready to have you or something similar, don't remember your exact words, is that because there's a certain size and maturity of a company that you prefer to work at? No, the company I work at now is 7 people. It's less about the size and more about the role that I expected to have. So in my previous role, I had certain expectations of what my role was going to be and what was communicated to me, and some percentage of that was accurate, and then some percentage of that was not. And so there were a lot of times where I would write up like, this is my current project plan, or this is my roadmap for X, Y, or Z. People would be like, wow, that will be amazing to do someday, because they couldn't manage doing it at that point in time. That's what I mean, if that makes sense. Any advice to a CS freshman failing math classes? At UIC? Are you in downtown Chicago? Hello, neighbor. If you're not doing well in math classes, honestly, take a summer class at community college and just get the credit done. That's what I did with Physics 1 and 2. It saved my GPA, and I got the knowledge that I needed. Do you charge for advising? Typically, startups will offer some ownership in the company, some percentage. Wow, I am so behind on the chat. Hola, hola, welcome friends. Let's see. I stayed at Atlassian for a while. I loved it until it became too big. I stayed until it didn't feel effective. I would have stayed longer if I felt like I was contributing at full potential. There you go. I feel like looking for new jobs when you like the current one you have gives a bit of grass is greener on the other side syndrome, which changes the attitude against the current job. Not necessarily. You can be talking to other companies without fully being like, I'm gonna go. there have been times where I've interviewed with companies and I've made it clear up front saying, I'm actually pretty happy in my job, but I will talk to you because this seems like an interesting opportunity. And if it goes well, great. If it ends up being a timing thing, we should keep the doors open. And some companies are pretty open to that. Let's see. I wanted you to be potato, but instead you were tomato. Do you know if it's common for US companies to hire remote workers from the EU? Yes, it's pretty common. Especially if they use a service like remote.com. But yeah, it depends on the company, but it is common. +1 for community college. Highly recommend. Oh, you're in Wicker Park. Nice. Old Town. The new job is at Contenda, which is an AI startup for repurposing content and creating content from existing content. I'm in the EU working for a US company, but I'm a contractor to them. That's where, again, something like remote, some employer of record is very, very useful because then you can get benefits and stuff. There's pros and cons to that, though. I've heard some people prefer the contractor stuff because then taxes are different, but I don't fully understand what happens in the EU with taxes. Jandrell, thank you so much for the sub from Peru. Wow. My brother-in-law was just in Peru. He did like a bunch of hiking around Machu Picchu and has been sending so many cool photos. My job has me so tunnel visioned in Java that I'm losing my JavaScript skills. But you know, you're going to have lots of job security with Java. Are EU citizens required to have US visas, green cards, or whatever to work legally? If you are working in the United States, yes. You don't necessarily need a green card, but you need some kind of visa, and the company can sponsor that visa. But if you want to work remotely, no, you don't need any of that. Hey Cass, at what point in a new job do you go, well, better start looking at what's out there? It's gonna really depend on you. It really depends. There have been some jobs where I knew, like when I worked at Amazon, I knew I wanted to leave like 2 weeks in. And I like kind of held on because I felt like I was supposed to. And then I quit at the 7-month mark. Meanwhile, I know some people who have quit their job a month in and they're just like, this was a mistake. And then they bounced. It really depends on how long do you think you can tolerate something that is not growing you in the way that you want to grow. I know you're not with them anymore, but thanks for helping me with my remote.com issues. Of course! I'm so glad that it worked out, at least while I was there. In Mexico, when you are an employee, you pay full taxes no matter what because they get deducted. It has the benefit of not you having to do anything really, but still it's a lot of money. If you're a contractor, you can deduct stuff or be in certain fiscal programs. Gotcha. There you go. Is remote.com able to sponsor visas? I don't know. I think that they can help. I think that they can help the startup or whatever company using them sponsor visas. Because I know they did something like that, especially for people who were trying to leave Ukraine. But I don't know the details around that. I want to ask something. Like I said earlier, I'm in the EU working for a US company. I'm really happy with them and everything, but I would really be interested to check other positions at other companies to see if perhaps the pay and benefits will be better. Plus, there might be a company that has a presence here in the UK that could hire me full-time, not as a contractor. Should I perhaps apply and tell them I might not accept an offer? I think you should apply and not bring that up unless you are really feeling convicted. And I think it'll depend on the company that you're talking to, because like, if it's a big company like Google, let's just say, you don't have to tell them anything. Just go. If it's a small startup where they're really excited that you've applied, I would be more honest with them. I always say the probation period is for your benefit as well as your employer's. If your relationship doesn't work, it doesn't work. There you go. Remote from other companies also depends on the company and the regulatory environment of the company. Some environments can't do remote from certain companies. True. That's why something like remote is nice, because they have employers of records in other places where your company doesn't have to have an entity or anything. The best way to work for an American company is to sell up an LTD company in your home country and have it as a B2B transaction. That's fair. Bye, Luke. I will say, like, I do a lot of contracting for Stack Overflow. I write their newsletter, I co-host their podcast, and do some other stuff. And I started my own LLC. And this isn't international, this is just here. But I made an LLC for myself for that, and it is so much easier to handle finances that way because it's like separate from a full-time job. And then also for them, they would rather pay a business rather than an individual contractor, even though it's still just me, but it's like a business that I set up. By the way, this is just water. I just really like this kombucha bottle, and so because it's glass, and so I've been reusing it and washing it and stuff. Job stuff, am I right? That's really interesting about the LLC. It's been a game changer because now whenever I do any contracting or any sort of like, if I give a talk and they're paying speaker fees or anything like that, everything goes into the LLC, and it's kind of like a separate space. It's separate money where it's not as much as my full-time jobs. It's not saving the day, but it's nice to have it separate for tax purposes, for saying like, okay, we're going to have certain housework and stuff come from this particular bucket. It's helpful. Do you hold Bitcoin in your LLC balance sheet? I do not. It's surprising how many doors having a company opens. It's as though companies see it as lower risk. It's true. Yeah, no, like being able to, I've done like some contracting stuff with GitHub and Microsoft and some larger companies, and you end up having to go through like a supplier portal and submit your business as like a small business, and I can say like it's a woman-owned business and everything. It's truly just me, but because I'm in their system as a business, other organizations in the larger Microsoft organization, for example, they're able to hire me so much easier. It's a game changer. I highly recommend doing it, especially if you are thinking about doing contracting or you're starting to give lots of talks or anything that involves a company paying you separate from your full-time job. It was something that I kind of did, not spur of the moment. It was something that Stack Overflow was just like, it would be a lot easier for you to do this. And so I've only had mine for less than 3 years, but it has been so helpful. Plus, you can expense certain business things. And so because I work from home and I'm a business owner, I can like a certain percentage of my home I can count towards taxes. And then like if I get desk equipment, it can count as like something that I can deduct, which is super nice. What do you think about GPU programming? Is it a must learn for the future? I don't know enough about it to give you a good answer, but it does seem like something that could be valuable. Hi Cassidy, how are you? Regards from Argentina. Wow, welcome. Bienvenidos. How difficult is it to get a job in the USA from Argentina with relocation? It'll depend on the company. Honestly, the first thing that I thought of when I saw Argentina was if you got a job at Globant. Globant is based in Argentina and they have offices everywhere. I know about Globant because a creative agency that I worked for was bought by Globant. And then if you could apply for like transfers so that way Globant could transfer and pay for you to move to the US, then once you're in, it's much easier to apply for different kinds of jobs because you're already in the US, and you could be like, I have a work visa, you'll need to sponsor it, but it exists. That might be easier. Larger companies do pay for people to move, but it can be challenging. I have a diploma in mechanical engineering and I'm looking for a job in computer science. People assume I can't code because I don't have a diploma in CS, even though I've coded for longer. Well, that's just silly. I think that's where on your resume you might want to put like projects that you've built and things that you've worked on, so people aren't distracted by the diploma and they see more specifically what you do. When do conferences pay speakers versus expecting speakers to speak for free, especially if they work for a big company? I recommend having a speaker rider. I'm putting a URL in the chat right now, cast.run/rider. Whenever, and this is something that I only started doing relatively recently, I say, here's my speaker rider. You can fork this, reword this, do whatever you want. And by just having it explicit and saying like, this is what I would like to see, this is what I would like you to include, you're gonna get paid. You are much more likely to get paid. That was something where I was just speaking for free for a really long time and being like, I work for a company, I'm kind of representing the company, maybe they'll pay for my flight and hotel, maybe they'll do this or do that. And I learned at one point, I was talking to someone who is further along in their career than I am, and they just started yelling at me. She was just like, are you kidding me? You're not getting paid? Don't leave your house for less than this amount. And I was like, really? Oh no, I've been missing out on so much money. So anyway, having a speaker writer is very, very helpful, because whenever someone asks you to speak, then you could say, sure, but this is what I expect from events. And there you go. Are all the keyboards a business expense? That would be great, wouldn't it? Any tips for someone that just started to work with a team in a different time zone? On a personal side, how many your working hours? Like, put it on your calendar explicit and straight up say like, don't book meetings before this time, don't book meetings after this time, stuff like that. And then also, in general, it's very useful for teams to use a unified time zone format. Like at Remote, for example, everyone used UTC. They'd say we're going to be meeting at 6 p.m. UTC or whatever, which is a different time for everyone, but by using it as like the one true time zone, it was helpful. And on your calendar, depending on the app that you use, but I know like Google and Outlook and various places have it, you can put different time zones on the side of your calendar and just look at them that way. I hope that's helpful. Also, first signals of getting burned out. Are you dreading your work? If so, you might be getting burned out. In general, burnout happens if you're doing a lot of work towards something that doesn't align with your values in some way. And so I think you need to assess for yourself, what are the things that you value at work? Like the top 3 things that you really, really value at work. And if your work is anti any of those, you might want to figure out how to protect yourself so you don't burn out. Set boundaries. Let's see. Father Wolf, Cassie Doobie Doobie Doo, hello. Thanks for sharing your speaker writer. Of course. I'm not even joking. You should 100% count your keyboards as a business expense. It's true. Which reminds me, I just got a new keyboard. I just got a new keyboard that I was planning on getting for a friend, but it's really cute and I might keep it. But you want to see it? It's a new drop board. It's one of their new like enter boards. Let me pull it up. I'm literally unboxing it right now. 1 second. Just pull it out of here. Oh, it's heavy. Wow, this is the first time I opened it. Look how cute it is. It's got these little illustrations. And it's got like this nice metal back. It's got these little legs that pop out. It's a nice board. Once again, I did originally get it because I was just like, oh, this would be good for this friend. But now, how good is this friend? That is the question. I love this line from your speaker writer. Please don't make it awkward and be like, we don't normally pay speakers, but you get exposure because I can't pay my bills with exposure. It's true. It's very true. Because that has happened way too much. And it has, in case you wanted to see, it has the drop Holy Panda switches, which are very nice. They're nice and tactile. Pretty good, right? Hey, it's me, your friend. You should send that right now. Wait a minute. Have an 8-year friendship or a lifetime awesome keyboard. True. True. I did the same with chocolate from Switzerland. I understand. As someone who has been eating chocolate all day, I understand. I might still give that keyboard to the friend. We'll see. We'll see my mood. I think we're ultra mega friends. Pokemon Go said so I rightfully claim my cube. Well, you're so far. That's a very specific form of fishing, angling for keyboards. For all of you starting out and struggling to get started, you needed to hear this one thing. Never give up. You'll make it. We all were where you are now. It's true. It's true. Wait, you play Pokemon Go? Yes! And you can go to cast.run/pogo to get my friend code. It's a little thing that I made on CodePen because I wanted to like share my Pokemon Go code without like I basically wanted JavaScript to run so spammy crawlers wouldn't get it, and so you click the ball and then you get my little friend code right there. Add me on Pokemon Go. My boyfriend went to a conference to present the result of his last clinical study and had to pay $1,000 for the ticket to the conference. I hate that. I have had to. Not gonna name names. Grace Hopper. I loved that conference, but for a long time they said even if you speak, you still have to pay for a ticket. And I just thought that was how it was, and I accepted it until I learned, no, that's a bad thing. And luckily I was able to like get my company to help and stuff, but gosh. I bought a RamaWorks U80 keyboard. I'm done buying keyboards for the rest of my life. I understand. Hey Cassadoo, I finally met in person your pal Jason Langsdorff and his girlfriend at Cascadia JS. Nice! That's awesome. They're great people. Also, don't beat yourself up if you don't end up in big tech. Yeah, honestly, I don't recommend big tech. I mean, there are definitely perks, and it depends on your personality, depends on so many things. But you don't need to be in big tech to have a good tech career. I can vouch, I struggled for 3 years, but I'm finally starting my first tech job next week. Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you, PJ Slinny. Thank you. Wow, I'm getting so many notifications of people sending me friend requests. I'm excited to give you all gifts. I go in waves of like, I'll do like 2 weeks straight of being really good at sending gifts every day, and then you will get a dry spell, and then I'll be back. So I'll send you gifts as often as I can. I'm at level 43, and the XP required to get to level 44 is so much. So friends are a really good way to fast track that to get that XP I needed. Level 44 XP wise. Gosh. Big tech looks much better on the outside. They still don't know what they're doing, same as everyone else. True. Startups are a great place to start a career. I worked IT, QA, and other jobs that allowed me to work up to where I am now. Most of it was startups and a stint as a consultant. Yeah. Again, it depends on your personality. Some people thrive at big companies. My sister's one of them. She only works at big companies. She's kind of collecting the infinity gauntlet of big companies because she's worked at Microsoft, at Apple, at Google, at Amazon, and she's at Meta now. So truly, all the big companies. She did like a brief stint at a startup. She's like, absolutely not, and went running to the big companies. And so it really just depends on what you like. You left remote? Congrats on the new job. I did. Thank you. I'm working at a startup now that I'm very excited about called Contenda. What's the new max level? For Pokemon? 50. Yes. I only have one other friend in Pokemon Go there, and we're at almost 4 hearts of friendship. Ah, yes, you need more. I sell to big tech as well as a small and medium business. The small business teams are definitely dialed into their business. Yeah, for sure. What about Contenda? Yes, Contenda is where I work. So this is the company that I started at. I'm truly week 1. But it is an AI startup where you give it content and you can create new content from it. And so in particular, it's really helpful for developer relations teams where, for example, when I was at Netlify, if I gave a talk, I had to, actually give the talk, write the talk. But then I also usually had to write a blog post about how I gave the talk, write a blog post or tutorial about the technical content in the talk, and then tweet about the talk. With Contenda, I don't have to do any of that. I can give the talk and it will generate the blog posts, it'll generate tweet threads, it'll generate like highlight clips, anything from that from the one talk using their AI. If Facebook is meta now, do we have to call it manga? I've only worked at one company, so I can't say other experiences, but I do working at this company because they're profitable and not seeking venture capital to grow faster. They're slowly but consistently and thoughtfully growing the team as the product and customer base grows. I love that. I feel like a lot more companies should be like that, so that's great. Medium size, maybe 1,000 employees, profitable company is my personal sweet spot. Yeah, I feel like as I've been at the various sizes, I think my sweet spot is like just under 50 employees. I really like a much smaller team, but where we have like enough budget to do things. Because if it's really, really small, I've worked at some companies where they truly just can't afford things. And then when it gets much bigger, then there's so much overhead that... Silly example. If I want Photoshop, at a really, really small company, they might not be able to afford the subscription. At a really, really large company, I have to jump through a bunch of hoops to request that I can get Photoshop. Something like 50 people, they're probably profitable enough that I can just get it, and it'll be fine. And I don't have to like go through a bunch of hoops to do it. It depends, it varies. That's just an example, but I like that area in a company myself. My ex-wife is about to retire from an insurance company as a software engineer. She started as an underwriter and switched to being a code monkey at age 43. That is awesome. That's so great. GPT powered? Yes, partially. There's various algorithms in the mix, but yes, GPT-3 is part of it. Actually, I hate that. I just want to get them tacos. Also, that sounds amazing. How many employees are at your new company? 7. So we are a small team, small but mighty. But it's also really, really fun. I like how small we are right now, and I'm sure we'll grow at some point. But it's a sweet spot currently. That's my dream. Is it venture-backed? It is. I worked at a small startup. Believe me, when we hire, people are gonna know because I'm probably going to be the hiring manager. Small amount of professionals working together. Yeah, no, it's small enough right now where we can like pivot quickly and like even just yesterday we had these plans for X, Y, and Z, and we were realizing, wait a minute, we don't really need X, we only need Y and Z. Let's just cut it and do that. And the fact that we could make that decision and just roll with it it's really nice. I love how flexible it is. The first company I worked at in Germany, the CEO would bring us ice cream in the summer. That's awesome. The TikTok where you said you need code was hilarious. Thank you. I was loving it. I was working on a small family-like team, not a fun experience. Yeah, that's where you got to be careful with small shops because some companies are like that. What I really like about this team is like after hours, it is silent. People are just offline, and it is very, very nice to see that we made. Let me pull it up. It's not funny, but also it is because it's stupid. And we haven't actually published it yet. Let me see if I can do that. It's just like serene piano music, so you don't need to hear it. Let's see. That's it. It's just, I was a coffee holder and we held a coffee cup together. It's so stupid, but we laughed so hard because it was so dumb. Depends on whose family. Mine? Nope. Stupid and lovable. I'll take it. My last startup was 6 months from IPO and they scrapped the product design and pivoted to a full product. How is that possible? 6 months from IPO, don't you have to like fill out a bunch of forms like a year before IPO? Ugh. Thank you, I am Big Blind for the bits. It reminds me, did you ever see that there was a job posting at like a winery where it was like, when you work here, your family, but it was like a really intense family? Oh, what was the name of that? I'm gonna just look up winery job posting. Oh gosh, I should not have done that because now it's actual job postings. Okay, ooh, I found it. Okay, 1 second. I will share it once I can pull it up. Where did it go? Dry Farm Wines. Dry Farm Wines job. Trying to find the cringe post because it was actually messed up, but it was also hilarious. Please hold. It's worth it. Dang it, all the tweets about it were deleted. I will find it, I promise. How do I switch the stream to dark mode? I could make my lights go off. How's that? Is that better? When and why did you leave Netlify? I left Netlify last year, November last year. And I left because it was fun. I liked Netlify. Get different colors now. Can't see the plant as well now. I really liked Netlify, but at the same time, once again, this is a cult. How can you be both a wine lover and a health advocate? Beats me. So we are its source energy. We tap into this energy by thinking, creating, and vibrating at a higher frequency together. We call our collective practices conscious abundance. For us, abundance is grounded in love. We share it with everyone unconditionally and without judgment. Through it, we contribute to a better world and elevate the life experience for each other and everyone we touch. This is a job posting. This is a job posting. That's literally what the WeWork woman said. Oh my gosh. There's not even red flags anymore. We do not call ourselves a team. We are a family. We dine together. We cook together. We travel together. All of us, spouses, partners, and plus ones, are loved unconditionally. This love and support is our highest value. We radiate this love to each other, and collectively, we radiate the light of this love to the world around us. Like all healthy families, individually, we are fiercely protective of each other's privacy. What was the previous song? The previous song was, let me see where we're at in the playlist. Previous one was called Ninth Power by Hen Yao. I can share it with you later if you want. Would someone read that and think I want to work there, right? But once again, there's so much more. There's so much more. We are